So there's a lot of truth in the expression that if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And in that case, I'm just going to start off today's video by saying the New York Giants are one of the funniest football teams of all time. Welcome back, everybody. Apologize for the awful looking video. I'm currently waiting for a cable to come so that I can record with my phone again and with my new microphone and everything. I have a new microphone, but of course I need a nice little fancy cable to connect over to my phone. But I am so sick and tired of just being a bystander. I'm so sick of just being over on the sideline, having to watch whatever words you want to use to describe the New York football Giants, a mockery, a disappointment, heartbreakers. I mean, the list goes on, and I can't sit here anymore. I got to get my points out. I gotta vent. I gotta talk about the New York Giants season so far, and hopefully what we can maybe turn it into. Switch to a more Giants appropriate head adornment. I want to start out with the positive, and the positive for the New York Giants this season has been a surprising performance on the defensive side of things from the newest player on the defensive side of the ball who is looking like an absolute stud, not only a good player, but a damn good leader on the field, and that's Bobby, I hope I pronounce his name right here, Okereke. It is so nice to finally have a player at the linebacker position that the Giants can actually rely on as a leader, somebody who's going to go out there. I'm not sure if he's the defensive play caller. That could be him. That could be McKinney or McFadden. But in terms of having a presence out there and having an individual who's going to lead by example, Okereke has been an absolute stud. 80 total tackles on the year. He's got 1 interception. He's got 9 TFL. I mean, the guy has been all over the field. 2 forced fumbles. I got the stats up if you couldn't guess. And he has just been an absolute stud. Arguably one of the best free agent acquisitions of any team in the offseason this year. After that, we of course got every opposing team's favorite player, and that is the sack daddy himself, Kayvon Thibodeau, an absolute monster on the edge. If you want to, I guess he's considered a linebacker. He's been lining up at like kind of the DN position. He can, go either way. He drops back, he runs up. But let me tell you, he is an absolute fierce competitor off the edge, and that is why he currently has 8.5 sacks on the year. I think that puts him at maybe 3rd or 4th at the moment, but he has been a complete stud, something that I've absolutely loved to see because there have been so many naysayers. There have been so many people saying he doesn't give effort. People saying that he's an immature or he's like a dirty player. Get that the hell out of here. This man is a dedicated, high motor individual who has been the nightmare of your favorite quarterback for this entire season. In his 2nd year in the league, this man is set to have an incredible career. I mean, and can we talk about number 5? Number 5. At first, I was hesitant. I have some weird areas where I tend to be a bit old head, and jersey numbers were one of those. I wasn't sure how I was feeling about guys on the defensive side of the ball wearing numbers like that, especially on the line and such. Oh my God, it's terrifying. Something about his huge ass, 6'5", 258, with 2 5s right there. We'll throw a 3rd one right on the chest, 555. That's his lucky number. And the man is just terrifying. Like if that's not, I have to imagine that when it comes to protection planning, that is the number 1 guy you are looking at when it comes to New York Giants week. Still on the defensive line, we got none other than sexy Dexter Lawrence. He has been the highest graded player on the Giants, I believe, the entire season. He's, I believe, the highest graded D tackle in the league right now. I think I just saw his PFF grade is like a 91.2 or something absolutely ridiculous like that. I don't know what the hell the PFF rating scale is, but I know it's out of 100, so I know 91.2 is pretty damn good. You want to talk about somebody who gets it done not only on the run stoppage, but in the quarterback pressures as well. I mean, people, if you don't send a double at Dex, somebody's getting worked over. Unless that's an all-class lineman in front of him, somebody's getting worked over because he is so wrong and just so big. When he freaking gets into the backfield, he just causes so much havoc. Another guy on the Giants, Kayvon's 6'5", Dex is 6'4", but differently, he is 342 pounds. That is meat right there. That is what you need to have on the defensive line, and he has been a keystone, an integral part of this Giants defense ever since he got here. And it's just beautiful to see him just have another dominant season, and I hope he gets the All-Pro recognition. Did he get some recognition last year? I don't remember if he made the All-Pro team last year. If he doesn't, if he doesn't make it this year, that's atrocious. He has been an astounding player on every down. He has been out there consistently. Again, there have been so many bright spots on the Giants defense right now. Not only that, but I mean, Micah McFadden, you want to talk about a player who has stepped up. Somebody who I don't think a lot of us were looking at as a super top-end leader on the defensive side of the ball. Somebody who's going to come up and make those big third down tackles. Somebody who's going to, just barely bring the guy down when you think we let him spring for a 80-yard touchdown like we seem to be so fond of doing. Micah McFadden can fucking tackle. On a Giants team that has looked terrible at tackling, one of my biggest gripes on the season. Wink, I love you. I think Wink's a great defensive coordinator, but somebody's got to get on these boys about their fucking tackling because, oh my God, we arm tackle. It's almost, we don't even wait for somebody to get the wrap up. We're just fucking digging at the ball immediately. And it's like, can we just get the guy down? And luckily, Micah McFadden seems to be more interested in being Brock Lesnar than being an NFL linebacker because he just wants to pick guys up and put them down. I mean, like I said, it is a refreshing change on the defensive end of the ball of a team that has looked sorry tackling a lot of the time. Promise, I'll talk about something other than the defense in a minute. But the last thing I really want to say, and I have to mention about the defense, is how good is Deonte Banks? Why isn't he getting the amount of hype that Sauce Gardner got last year? I mean, up until it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, he hadn't let any receiver, and we've played some good frickin' receivers. Pretty sure we played a guy named Justin Jefferson at the very least. We have played some damn good receivers, and Deonte Banks has been locking them up. Absolutely stellar performance from the rookie. Again, right now, I understand Jalen Carter is disgusting, and he is. He's absolutely foul, and he's not even icing on the cake for that Philadelphia defensive line. He's like a second cake on top of the cake because that line was already so disgusting. I remember asking my friends, why did the Eagles just take a defensive lineman? Aren't they already disgusting? And people were like, he's probably the best player in the draft. And I can see what they mean now. But gosh damn it, Deonte Banks deserves a freaking mention because he has been astounding, especially at the cornerback position, which has to be one of the hardest positions to come into the NFL and play. Next to cornerback, not quarterback, next to cornerback has to be one of the hardest positions to play because you're literally backpedaling with some of the fastest athletes in the world. I mean, good luck. And Deonte Banks has done a stellar job of it. Now we're going to talk about the offense. I don't even want to talk about special teams. I'll be honest with you. Special teams has just been That's I was a kicker for a couple years. I was also a defensive tackle and a tight end, so it's not like that, but I was a kicker for a couple years. So special teams holds a special place in my heart. Wordplay unintended. God, the Giants are disappointing on special teams. Gunnar Olszewski, I believe is his name, has been easily the shining star on that end. But again, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the offense a bit here. And unfortunately, it has been the stark opposite to our defense this year. I don't want to begin with Daniel, but to put in perspective how anemic the Giants offense has been this season, our current leading passer through 9 weeks of professional NFL football is Daniel with 909 yards. If you are a team in the NFL and after 9 whole weeks, your leading passer has 900 yards, unless by some weird chance, there's a guy with 800 and a guy with 750 behind him, you guys suck. At least the passing side of your offense sucks. And a lot of that comes from the fact that we have a revolving door of an offensive line. Look, Daniel takes blame. I'm going to get to Daniel in a minute here. There's a lot I want to say about that. But our line, until probably 2 weeks ago or so, you would have to question if we even told the offensive linemen that their job was to protect the quarterback. I don't care who was back there. It looked like they were invested. They were I don't know what you'd be invested in. They either had the other team's defense in fantasy, or they had a life insurance plan out on each one of the Giants quarterbacks. But you would swear they were invested in getting them sacked, hit, and just not doing the job of an offensive lineman. Now, a big reason for that has been injury. We just got Andrew Thomas back, and I'm pretty sure he either sat out practice today, it's a Thursday, or yesterday, in relation to just trying not to exacerbate himself. And not only him, but guys have just been going down left and right. Shout out to Justin Pugh, straight off the couch. Man has been arguably our most consistent offensive lineman so far, and that is depressing, to say the least. The Giants have, I believe, some of the I'm pretty sure we're the 32nd offense. I know for a fact that we are the lowest scoring offense in the league right now. I believe we're scoring about 11 or 12 points per game, and if I'm not mistaken, that's either the lowest or one of maybe bottom 3 lowest scoring offenses in the modern era of NFL football. And if that doesn't make a game hard to watch for a fan, I don't know what does. Darren Waller's hurt. Who knows if he's going to be back. What would be the point of coming back? To get hurt again? I mean, right now it's just Darren Waller is looking like a Ferrari sitting next to a trailer. I loved it, and it was so great to actually try to add a great player, especially to our passing game. But right now, man, I'd love a blocking tight end. Man, I'd love an actual number 1 receiver, not a 30-some-year-old tight end with injury problems. I mean, God love him. I was all for the move. I thought it was great. But right now, it's looking, again, like we just have a depreciating asset that, with the recent move to injury reserve, only seems to be getting worse and worse. And on a team like this, that's about the least viable situation an individual like that can be in. Our receivers are receivers, I guess. I don't know how many of them would start on other teams. Jalen Hyatt would. Why isn't Jalen Hyatt the number 2 receiver right now? I understand. Slayton, he's cut his teeth, he's earned his stay. Wandale, great wide receiver. But oh my gosh, we need somebody who is able to get past their defender and get above a defense and get us a touchdown. And right now, the only person who seems to even have a modicum of ability to do that is Jalen Hyatt. The guy is lightning quick. We need to get him the ball more often. Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. There's not much to be said about that. I have him in fantasy in one league for the first time, I believe, either ever or maybe for the first time since his rookie season. And it's cool. I like having him. His injuries haven't been great for that. But Saquon is Saquon. Saquon's going to get out there and he's going to do his thing. He's arguably the Giants' best explosive factor. Teams can game plan for him, and he's still going to get his. 90% of the time, you give him 60 minutes of NFL football, you can game plan for him. He's going to get his before he gets got. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch. I put this beanie on, and it's insulated my head. I have a window open in the Pennsylvania November. I guess it's winter. Global warming has ruined winter, Pennsylvania winter. It is hot. It's nice to be able to go outside, but what's the point of a 60-degree day when it's dark at 4:30 or 5 o'clock? Anyway, that's a completely different subject. We're going to wrap up today by talking about everybody's favorite part of the New York Giants, and that is our quarterback. Daniel Jones is officially out for the season with a torn ACL that he suffered in a game that he probably shouldn't have even been in. I don't think he was ready to come back from the neck injury. But whether he was or not, I mean, we had nobody out there. Tyrod Taylor is lucky to be alive. You want to talk about scaring me? I mean, not to inflate myself or anything, but I am a medical professional. I understand what a collapsed lung is, and I understand the risk that can come with something like that. And I'm just glad to see the fact that it seems like he's going to continue to play NFL football. The guy is an absolute tank. I love him. I loved him when he played for the Bills. I always thought he was a fun and just entertaining player to watch. He's clearly a leader. I mean, I think he's been stepping up. I would imagine a lot of guys can attest to that. But unfortunately, he's just decent. He's not starting caliber quarterback anymore, unless he was surrounded by absolute studs through and through. He's just not that level of player anymore. And unfortunately, once he went down, we were left with Tommy DeVito, an undrafted rookie who, in the first game he got in, it didn't even look like we trusted him to throw the ball. When he got in, I don't remember what week it was, maybe two weeks ago now, when he got in, it's like, why was he even on the roster? Why have a quarterback on the roster if you don't even trust him to throw the ball 1, 2, crazy 3 times? The Giants lost that game because of coaching, I swear. But that is a whole other thing. Right now, we are starving for a quarterback. Tommy DeVito is going to get his first start this week against the Cowboys. God bless him. That's a great defense. That's going to be a really tough first matchup, but hopefully we got the surprise factor going, and he's going to be able to go out there and crack off some quick points and maybe put us in a lower scoring game that comes down to just a couple late game plays. Maybe our defense can come up with the big stop, or maybe a big turnover lane and ice it. Praying for a miracle. I know everybody has us against or has the Cowboys winning against us, but isn't that just the perfect time for an upset when everybody's against you? So God love Tommy DeVito. I hope he can succeed out there. He's being backed up by Matt Barkley. If you would have said the New York Giants quarterbacks in Week 10 would be Tommy DeVito and Matt Barkley, I would have done something not appropriate on YouTube. Let's just say that. I would have done something that YouTube is very not friendly towards you saying. So let's get to the ultimate brass tacks about the Giants quarterback situation. That is the Daniel Jones era is over. It doesn't matter if you like DJ, doesn't matter if you dislike DJ, doesn't matter if you thought he was good, if you thought he was bad. The Daniel Jones era in New York is over. We will be drafting a quarterback in the upcoming draft, and at best, he will bridge. We will release him after his second year with the incredible out that was built into the contract, and he will enter free agency and hopefully find a middling level team that wants to take a risk on him, and I hope he can succeed there. But the truth of the matter is that the Daniel Jones era is over. And what I want to talk about with that is some people need to move on. What's really frustrating as somebody who is, we'll say empathetic, somebody who feels as if they are quite altruistic, somebody who feels like they put themselves in other people's shoes a lot. I'm referring to myself here. It is so frustrating to see people go, I was right. Finally, Daniel got, finally we can move on. I was so right. He was bad. Now, this proof, I don't know. People seem to think this like vindicates them. Like the fact that the Giants will finally be moving on from Daniel Jones. And what I gotta say to that is you need to learn what it means to be a team. I understand we're fans. I understand what it means to not actually be a part of it. But let me tell you, when you are somebody who's in the locker room, somebody who is on the field with everybody else, if you aren't ready to buy in 100% with whoever you have, you're ready to fail. And I'm going to say this right now to any New York Giants fans who have been sitting on the sideline refusing to buy in to Daniel Jones. You don't buy in because you've never believed in anything bigger than yourself. And that is the hard truth of the matter. You don't believe in this team. You don't believe in what has been happening because you refuse to step outside of yourself and believe in something bigger. And that is what it means to be on a team. And that's a big reason why I'm very much at the point of where I'm just like, move on. Like, it doesn't matter if you thought he was good, if you thought he was bad. It doesn't matter what you thought about him, because right now the New York Giants' plan is to go into the draft a quarterback, and possibly use DJ to bridge them. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Unless Joe Judge, I don't know, maybe Mara has a gun to the back of his head, and that's why DJ is still here, but unless, oh my God, I just said we have Joe Judge. Joe Shane. Oh my God. Thank God we don't have Judge anymore. Isn't his name Shane even though it's an O? I don't know. Joe, unless he just has a serious mental incapacitation, we're going to be going forward drafting a new QB and working to make them the Giants franchise quarterback. That's the bottom line. That's the brass tacks, however you want to say it. That is what's going to happen. And for the people who want to sit and be smug about the fact that they're finally moving on from Daniel Jones, all I have to say to you is you've never believed in anything bigger than yourself. So going forward, I'm going to be real. I don't pay attention to college ball. I know there's a Caleb Williams guy. With how people have already been acting towards him, and with how people have, with how the New York media is to begin with. People, a buddy of mine was like, is the New York media really that bad? Dog, it's the worst. There's a reason the New York Giants are still one of the most valuable franchises in all of professional sports. And with that comes ferocious media. And that's part of the reason I love DJ, is because he's been willing to shut up and just deal with it. Maybe Caleb isn't capable of that. I don't know. I'm as much as it's maybe indicative of the fact that the Giants need to move on from having a buttoned up, quiet quarterback. Maybe it is time to, show some personality and actually be a team of 2023. As much as that may be true, there is still value in somebody who's never gonna put anybody under the bus, that's not gonna blow up in post-game interviews or anything like that. And I'm not saying Caleb does, but I'm just saying that the New York media is tough, and I would hate for somebody who already has such a large number of people jumping down his throat for showing emotion to step onto a bigger stage and have to be subject to even more bullshit because he's willing to be a human being. If you stuck around, I love you. Thank you. I know it's been an absolutely disgusting amount of time since I've uploaded a video. I will blame it on technical issues, but I'm also in nursing school, and if you know anything about that, you know it is awful and it is very difficult. So if you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate you. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you're new. And as always, my name is Zachary Taylor, and I thank you for your time today.